The royal court of the Crimson Empire was so silent that even the air felt afraid. Hundreds of alien princes stood in a massive hall made of black stone and glowing red veins. Each prince wore heavy armor, sharp claws, or long ceremonial blades. They all waited for one thing, the final choosing ceremony of the vampire princes. Seraphina. Everyone believed she would choose a strong alien lord, maybe a war general, or perhaps the son of a galaxy king. No one even imagined something else was about to happen. Something that would break the entire court in 1 second. At the far back of the hall stood one simple human Elias, not a soldier, not a prince, not a warrior, just a repair worker the palace borrowed from a human. Colony ship. He stood there because someone told him to wait after fixing a broken light panel. He didn't understand their language completely. He didn't know he was standing inside the most important ceremony in centuries. He didn't know every creature in the hall could crush him with one hand. He just wanted to finish his job and leave. Then the drums stopped. The lights dimmed. The vampire guards bowed. And the vampire princess entered. Seraphina walked slowly, her long white hair floating behind her like mist. Her eyes glowed blood red, but it wasn't anger. It was something colder, something deeper. Every alien prince knelt when she passed, showing respect and fear. They whispered to each other about her beauty, her power, her royal blood. She walked down the long path, moving past the strongest warriors in the galaxy. She didn't even look at them. Every prince tried to stand taller, hoping she would stop in front of them. She did not. She kept walking, straight, calm, focused. But where was she going? Elias watched her, confused. He didn't know why everyone bowed. He didn't know why his heart suddenly felt like it forgot how to beat. He wanted to step back, but his legs felt frozen. Then Princess Seraphina reached the end of the path, kept going, and walked right toward him. The entire court gasped. Hundreds of glowing eyes turned toward the human. Whispers filled the air. Why is she looking there? What is she doing? That is, a human? He is weak. He is nothing. Elias swallowed hard. His hands shook. He had never seen so many deadly faces staring at him. He wanted to run, but he felt trapped. Princess Seraphina stopped in front of him. She lifted her hand. Her long pale finger pointed directly at him. Elias felt his heart jump into his throat. Then she said, in a clear voice that echoed through the hall, "I choose him." Silence. It wasn't the normal silence. It was the kind that crushes the air. The kind that comes before a storm. No one moved. Then the court exploded in rage. Alien princes shouted, growled, roared in anger. This is impossible. He is not worthy. A human cannot be chosen. He is weak. He is prey. Some pounded their fists on the stone floor. Some reached for their weapons. Others glared at Elias with pure hatred. 2 giant reptilian princes stepped forward, their claws scraping the floor. One yelled, "Princess, you dishonor us. This creature is nothing." Elias felt his legs shaking. His lungs tightened. He didn't know what she meant. He didn't know why she chose him. He didn't even know what chosen meant in vampire culture. All he felt was fear filling his whole body. Princess Seraphina didn't move. She simply stared at the princes with cold, deadly eyes. Then she spoke again, but this time her voice carried sharp warning. "If any of you touch him, you will face me." Her words froze the entire hall. Even the kings and generals took a step back. Everyone knew the princess was not only royal, she was the strongest vampire born in 1,000 years. Her power was legendary. Her visions were feared. Her choices were absolute. But still, the court could not accept it. A human? A weak, fragile human? Chosen over alien princes? The vampire king himself slowly stood from his dark throne. His voice was deep, heavy, and ancient. "Seraphina, explain yourself. The princess didn't bow. She didn't blink. She simply said, "I saw something inside him." Elias's breath stopped. Something inside him? What did she mean? What did she see? The entire court leaned forward, waiting for her answer. But Princess Serafina only lowered her gaze to the human and whispered, "And that is all you need to know for now." A storm was coming. The court was seconds away from breaking. And Elias had no idea that his life had just changed forever. The moment the princess chose him, Elias felt the entire court turn into a burning fire aimed at his chest. Hundreds of princes stared at him as if he had stolen their crowns. Their claws twitched. Their fangs parted. Their eyes glowed brighter with every second. He did not understand their language completely. But he understood one thing very clearly. They hated him. Two vampire guards pushed through the angry crowd and stood beside Elias. Their dark armor shimmered as if alive. Elias felt small beside them, like a child protected by two statues of death. Princess Serafina stepped closer to him. Her expression calm while the whole court trembled with rage. "Do not be afraid," she said softly. Elias tried to nod, but fear filled every muscle in his body. He felt like an ant standing inside a volcano. The first prince stepped forward. Prince Dravos, a massive horned warrior with skin like obsidian. "He is weak." Dravos growled. "If you want a pet, choose an animal. But a human? A husband? This is an insult to the entire Crimson Empire." Dozens of princes shouted in agreement. Some pointed their weapons. Others slammed their fists against the stone floor. Elias wanted to speak. He wanted to say he didn't want to be part of this. That he was just a repair worker. That he didn't mean to offend anyone, but no words came out. Princess Serafina lifted her hand. Silence fell instantly. Every prince froze like a statue. Her voice cut through the air like a cold blade. "I chose him," she said slowly. "And my choice will not change." Dravos stepped closer, his huge shadow falling over Elias. "Then let him prove he deserves to stand here," he snarled. "I challenge him." The court erupted again. A challenge? Against a human? Elias felt his stomach twist. He knew he would die in a fight. He wasn't a warrior. He wasn't special. He had never even punched someone in his life. Princess Serafina moved in front of him sharply, her cloak flowing like smoke. "No," she said. "You will not touch him." Dravos hissed. "Are we to bow before a human? Are we to accept this insult?" The princess's eyes flared with red fire. Elias felt the heat behind him. "If you attack him," she said, "you attack me." The entire hall fell into deep silence again. Even the vampire king leaned forward in interest. Dravos clenched his jaw, backing away slowly. He knew the princess was far stronger than him. She was far stronger than nearly everyone, but anger did not disappear. It grew. More princes stepped forward. "He cannot stay. He brings weakness. He is not worthy. Humans are prey, not partners." Elias felt like he was drowning in a sea of voices demanding his death. Then one soft whisper came from behind him. "Come." It was Seraphine's voice, before the court could erupt again. She gently took his wrist. Her touch was cold, but strangely comforting. The guards closed around them and guided him away from the hall. Elias barely understood what was happening. He felt dizzy, confused, terrified. He had been fixing the light panel just an hour ago. Now he was being pulled away from an angry alien court, protected by a princess who claimed him for reasons he could not understand. They walked through dark hallways lit by floating red crystals. The guards kept their sharp eyes open, watching every corner. "Where are we going?" Elias finally whispered. "To safety," Serafina replied without turning around. They entered a large chamber, surrounded by glass windows showing a red star burning outside. Vampire symbols glowed faintly on the walls. Serafina stopped and faced him. For the first time, her expression softened. "You are frightened," she said. Elias let out a shaky breath. "Everyone out there wants me dead. They fear what they do not understand." Elias laughed bitterly. "I don't understand myself. Why did you choose me? Why me?" She looked at him quietly. Her eyes were ancient, older than Earth itself. "Because I saw something in you," she said. "What?" He asked. She took a step closer. "Strength," she whispered. "But not the kind they respect." Elias frowned. "I don't have strength." "You do," she said. "A different strength. A human strength. But I'm just normal." Serafina smiled slightly. "Humans always think that. Until the moment they are tested." Elias felt confused again. What test? What strength? Why him? Finally, he asked the question burning in his mind. "What did you see inside me?" Seraphine's smile faded. Her voice dropped to a whisper, almost like a secret she feared to speak aloud. "A light," she said. "A fire, something no alien prince has ever possessed." Elias blinked. "A fire?" "Yes," she said. "A fire strong enough to change destiny." He opened his mouth to ask more. But suddenly the chamber lights flickered. A deep alarm echoed through the palace. Seraphine's face turned sharp and tense as she looked toward the door. "They are coming." Elias felt cold fear crawl down his spine. "Who?" he whispered. Her answer made his blood turn to ice. "The princes," she said. "They are coming to kill you." The alarm echoed through the palace like a heartbeat filled with danger. The red lights flashed across the walls, and Elias felt the sound vibrate inside his chest. Something was coming. Something violent. Something hungry for him. Princess Serafina stepped in front of him, her cloak spreading like a shadow. Her eyes became sharp, glowing brighter than before. She didn't look afraid, she looked angry. "Stay close," she said, "and do not run." Elias nodded, even though his legs trembled. The idea of running crossed his mind, but he knew he wouldn't get far. Every prince in that court wanted his blood. A group of vampire guards rushed into the chamber, kneeling before their princes. "They are breaking the royal rules," the captain said. "The princes have formed a hunting group. They are moving toward this wing." Seraphine's jaw tightened. "They dare?" "Yes, my princess," the guard replied. "They think killing the human will force you to choose again." Elias stared at the floor. "I don't want anyone hurt because of me." Serafina looked at him with an expression he didn't understand. Cold, but also protective. "You are under my protection now," she said. "Their anger is not your fault." He wanted to believe her, but fear still shook him. The guards formed a circle around the princess and the human. The captain signaled them to move into the deeper corridors. They began leading Elias and Serafina toward the inner sanctum, a place only royal blood could enter. The hallways were long and narrow, filled with ancient symbols that glowed softly. Strange paintings of old vampire queens covered the walls. Elias felt like he was walking into history itself. "Where are we going?" he whispered. "To the heart chamber," Serafina answered. "It is the safest place in the palace. No one can enter without my permission." Elias hesitated. "Why are you doing all this for me?" She slowed her steps for a moment, then turned to him. "You asked what I saw inside you," she said softly. "I will tell you the truth. But you must understand. It will change everything." Elias's breath caught in his throat. "I'm listening." She stepped closer, her red eyes meeting his. "When I looked at you," she said, "I saw something no alien prince has ever possessed. Something that only humans carry." Elias blinked. "What is it?" "A fire," she whispered. "A fire deep in your soul." Elias frowned. "A soul is just a soul, isn't it?" "Not for vampires," she replied. We can see it. We can feel it. We can taste the strength or weakness inside someone. Elias felt cold chills run down his spine. And mine is different. Very different, Serafina said. Human souls are strange. They shine even in darkness. Yours shines brighter than anything I have ever seen. He stared at her, confused. But I'm not strong. I'm not brave. I'm not special. You are wrong, she said firmly. Humans do not understand themselves until life forces them to. She leaned closer. You hide your strength behind fear. But it is there. I felt it. Elias didn't know what to say. He didn't feel strong. He felt terrified, lost, out of place. Why would a vampire princess see something powerful in him? Before he could speak, the floor trembled. A heavy boom echoed down the corridor. Then another. And another. The guards instantly raised their weapons. They are at the inner gates, the captain whispered. Seraphine's eyes turned cold. Get him inside the heart chamber, now. The guards pushed the heavy door open. A deep red glow filled the room. Elias stepped inside. It felt warm, almost alive. But before the door could close, the corridor ahead exploded. Stone flew everywhere. The ground shook. A roar erupted from the dust. Prince Dravo stepped through the smoke, followed by 7 other furious princes. Their armor cracked with power. Their weapons glowed with deadly light. There he is, Dravos growled. The human thief. 2 guards jumped forward, but Dravos knocked them aside like toys. The other princes spread out, blocking every exit. Elias felt his heartbeat race wildly. He backed away, but there was nowhere left to run. Dravos pointed his blade toward him. Come out, human, he snarled. Face your fate. Serafina moved in front of Elias instantly. You will not touch him, she hissed. Dravos laughed. You protect him because you saw a light? Because you saw something in his soul. He spat on the floor. What nonsense. Serafina didn't blink. You are blind. Dravos roared. Humans are food, nothing more. Elias felt something break inside him. Fear? Anger? Something deeper? His hands clenched. For the first time, he looked directly at Dravos and whispered, I'm not your food. Dravos froze. Elias didn't know why he said it. He didn't know where the courage came from. But Seraphine's eyes widened with shock. And pride. She whispered to him, there, that fire. That is what I saw. The princes roared, preparing to attack. Serafina stepped forward, her fangs slowly extending. Elias felt the ground shake as the battle began. The corridor shook again as the princes advanced, their heavy steps echoing like thunder. Elias felt each vibration in his bones. Dust drifted from the ceiling. Broken stone rolled across the floor. The air smelled like danger, thick, sharp, and cold. Prince Dravos raised his massive blade, its edge glowing a violent red. This ends now, he growled. Step aside, princess. Serafina didn't move. Her shadow stretched behind her like wings. Her eyes burned with ancient power. The guards tried to form a wall around her, but the princes were too many. Elias watched as their weapons crackled with dark energy, ready to tear through anything. Even a vampire princess. The captain whispered to her, Princess, we cannot hold them. Seraphine's voice was calm. You will not fight. I will. The guards hesitated, then stepped back. Elias felt panic rise inside him. She was strong, yes. Powerful, yes. But 8 princes at once. That felt impossible. He grabbed her arm without thinking. Don't fight alone, he said, voice shaking. She turned her head slightly, surprised. You cannot fight them. I can try, he said softly. I'm tired of hiding behind you. Serafina stared at him for a long second. Then a faint, almost invisible smile touched her lips. "There is the fire again," she whispered, but before she could say more, Dravos roared and charged. The entire corridor exploded into chaos. Serafina moved faster than light. She grabbed Elias by the waist and pushed him back behind a stone pillar, just as Dravos's blade crashed down. The floor cracked. Sparks flew. Elias covered his head as stone shattered around him. The other princes rushed in, forming a deadly circle. Their weapons left trails of glowing energy in the air. They attacked from every angle. Serafina met them all. She spun, kicked, and slashed with her claws. Her movements fluid like water, but dangerous like a storm. Her white hair danced around her like living fire. Every strike she delivered was powerful enough to shake the walls, but the princes were strong too. They were warriors trained from birth, equals in skill, hungry for revenge. One prince slammed Serafina back against a wall. Another aimed a spear at her throat. She dodged at the last second and grabbed the spear, breaking it in half with her bare hands. The broken end shot toward another prince, cutting his cheek and making him roar in pain. Elias watched helplessly, heart racing. He felt useless, weak, but something inside him kept pushing. That fire Serafina talked about, it flickered again. He saw one prince sneaking behind her, weapon raised high. "Serafina! Behind you!" Elias shouted. She turned just in time, catching the blade inches from her heart. Dravos smiled darkly. "Even you will tire eventually," Serafina hissed. "But you will fall first." Another explosion shook the corridor, this time from the inside. A prince had smashed his hammer into the floor, creating a shockwave. It knocked Serafina off balance. She slid back, slamming into a pillar. Dravos stepped forward, raising his blade above his head. "This is your last mistake." Princes. Elias didn't think, didn't plan, didn't hesitate. He ran forward. Everything slowed. He grabbed a fallen spear from the ground, heavy, cold, and vibrating with alien energy. He lifted it with both hands, even though it felt like lifting a mountain. Dravos swung his massive blade downward. Serafina couldn't move in time. Elias shouted and slammed the spear into Dravos's arm. Blade stopped mid-strike. Dravos roared in pain, stumbling back. His eyes widened in shock as he stared at Elias. "You dared?" Elias didn't feel brave. He felt shaking fear in every part of his body. His arms hurt. His chest burned. But something pushed him forward. Serafina jumped back to her feet, eyes blazing. She looked at Elias with something new in her face. Respect. She whispered, "You saved me." Elias swallowed. "I won't let them kill you." Dravos's fury twisted into something darker. "You think you can stand in our world, human?" He spat. Elias tightened his grip on the spear. "I can stand beside her." The princes roared in anger. Serafina stepped closer to Elias, her presence strong, protective, and sharp like a blade. "You see now," she whispered to him, "why I chose you." He didn't understand fully, but he felt it. The fire inside him was no longer small. It was rising. Dravos pointed his weapon at both of them. "This ends here. Both of you die." Serafina raised her hand. The walls trembled. A deep, ancient power awakened in her voice as she said, "No. This is where the two of us begin." The princes charged. The corridor shook. And one human and one vampire princess stood ready. Together. The princes charged like a living storm. Their weapons glowed with burning red light. The floor cracked under their steps. The air shook with their battle cries. Elias felt the vibration through his bones, but this time, he did not freeze. Serafina moved first. She stepped in front of Elias, her cloak spreading like wings made of darkness, her eyes burning with power older than time. She raised her hand and unleashed a shockwave of crimson energy. The blast hit the first prince, sending him flying into a wall. Stone shattered around him. but the rest kept coming. Dravos roared and swung his massive blade toward Seraphine's head. She ducked, twisted, and landed a kick to his ribs. He stumbled, but he didn't fall. Another prince with blue armor lunged at her from the side. Elias saw it. Seraphina couldn't block both. Without thinking, he moved. He grabbed the heavy spear he had dropped earlier. It felt too big for his hands. Too heavy. But something inside him, something deep and burning, pushed his body forward. He swung it. Not with skill. Not with training. With instinct. The spear struck the blue-armored prince across the back. The prince roared, turning in shock. Elias tried to hold the spear firm, but the prince knocked him back with a violent shove. Elias crashed into the wall, air exploding from his lungs. Pain shot through his body. His vision blurred. His hands shook, but the fire did not leave him. It only grew hotter. Seraphina appeared in front of him in an instant, blocking another attack aimed at his chest. She slashed her claws across the attacker's face, leaving 3 long burning lines. She turned to Elias, eyes wide with worry. "Are you hurt?" Elias pushed himself up, leaning on the wall. "I'm okay. You should not be fighting." He met her eyes. "Then why did you choose me?" She froze for a moment. Dravos interrupted with a scream. "Princess, this human is nothing. He is only alive because you stand between us. Move aside and let him die." Something inside Elias snapped at those words. A lifetime of being overlooked. A lifetime of being called weak, small, nothing. A lifetime of being the quiet one no one noticed. And now aliens in another world said the same thing. Elias looked at Dravos. Anger rising like fire. "I'm not nothing." Dravos laughed. "Prove it, human." Another prince rushed at Elias, swinging a glowing blade straight at his neck. Elias ducked, barely escaping death. He grabbed a fallen piece of stone and smashed it against the prince's arm. The prince snarled and swung again. Elias rolled across the floor, dust covering his hands and clothes. He wasn't trained. He wasn't skilled. He wasn't strong like them, but he kept moving. Seraphina watched him with shock, admiration, and something even deeper. "Human will," she whispered to herself. "No alien has this." Another prince tried to strike Elias from behind, but Seraphina slammed into him with her full strength. She kicked him into the opposite wall. Cracking the stone. Dravos grew angrier. "You protect him too much." Seraphine's voice became sharp. "You attack him too much." Dravos raised his blade again. "Then I will kill him through you." He charged at Seraphina with terrifying speed. She met him head-on, claws clashing with steel, sparks bursting around them. Elias looked around the floor desperately. His spear was far. The stone was broken. His hands were empty. Then he saw it, a short metal sword lying near a fallen guard. Elias crawled toward it, grabbed it, and stood. The sword felt more balanced, lighter. Something he could control. The fight raged around him. Dravos and Seraphina clashed like 2 storms colliding. The other princes circled them, waiting for a chance to strike. Elias ran toward them. One prince noticed him and swung his weapon low. Elias blocked the attack with the metal sword, shock running up his arm. He countered with a quick strike to the prince's knee. The prince screamed and fell, giving Seraphina an opening. She pushed Dravos back with a burst of energy. Elias stood beside her now, breathing hard. Eyes burning. Hands shaking but steady. Seraphina looked at him. "Why do you keep standing up?" "Because I don't want you to fight alone," Elias said. For the first time she looked. Moved. "You truly have the fire." Dravos spat on the ground. "Fire? He has nothing. Humans are insects." Elias tightened his grip on the sword. "You keep calling me weak, but I'm still standing. And you're still angry." Dravos roared and charged. Elias stepped forward with the princess. Together. The blade came down with deadly force. Elias blocked it. The impact shook his whole body. But he didn't fall. Serafina grabbed Dravos's exposed arm and crushed it with supernatural strength. Dravos screamed. Elias yelled and pushed the blade away. For the first time, the princes stepped back. A human had just held his ground against a warrior prince. Seraphine's eyes glowed. Proud and fierce, she whispered 3 words. "This is humanity." Dravos growled in rage. The other princes stared in disbelief. Elias didn't know what final battle was coming next, but he knew one thing. He was no longer afraid. Dravos staggered back, clutching his crushed arm. The other princes stared at Elias as if the universe had suddenly changed its rules. A human, fragile, soft-skinned, untrained, had blocked a prince's full strike. It made no sense to them. It made even less sense to Elias himself. His hands still shook. His arms burned. His chest rose and fell fast. But inside him, something bright glowed. Something warm. Something he didn't understand. Serafina stepped beside him, her presence cold yet protective. "This battle ends now," she said. Dravos spat, his voice dark with rage. "No, it ends when the human dies." Before he could charge again, the ground shifted. The air thickened. Something ancient moved inside the walls. Even the princes paused, confused. The heart chamber reacted. Its red glow brightened, pulsing with slow, powerful beats. Like a giant heart waking up, Seraphine's face changed. She knew what this meant. "Elias," she said quietly, "come with me." He followed her as she led him deeper into the chamber. The walls were alive with swirling red symbols. The temperature felt warm, almost comforting. A stone platform rose from the center of the room, glowing faintly when Elias approached. "Why are we here?" he asked. Serafina turned to him, her expression serious, more serious than ever before. "It is time I explain everything." Elias swallowed. "Explain what?" "What I truly saw inside you." She stepped closer, her eyes glowing softly. "Vampires see souls," she said. "Not like humans imagine them. We see their strength, shape, and destiny." Elias felt the hairs on his neck rise. "And mine?" "Your soul burns," she said in a whisper. "Not like a candle, like a star." Elias blinked. "A star?" "Yes," she said. "Humans are strange. They are born weak. They bleed easily. They break easily. But their souls..." Her voice softened. "Their souls can rise higher than any alien species." Elias shook his head. "That doesn't make sense. I've always been scared. Always been small. Always been average." Serafina stepped forward and touched his chest gently with her fingertips. "That fear you feel? It only hides your strength. It does not erase it." "But why me?" he whispered. "Why not any other human?" Her eyes softened, almost sad. "Because your soul is not ordinary. When you entered the court hall, your soul lit up the room. I felt it immediately. A fire bright enough to blind me." Elias stared at her, overwhelmed. "You were chosen before you even knew you were being watched," she continued. "Not by me. By destiny." He swallowed hard. "You're saying I'm special?" She nodded once, slowly. "Yes." Elias didn't know how to accept that. He felt like nothing special his whole life. He grew up unnoticed. Worked simple jobs. Never did anything brave. Nothing legendary. He didn't feel like a star. He felt like a flickering ember. But Serafina looked at him like she saw a sun ready to rise. Before he could ask more, the chamber doors exploded. Open. Dravos and the remaining princes stormed inside. Their anger filled the room like poison. "You hide the human in the sacred chamber?" Dravos roared. You break every law. Seraphina stepped in front of Elias. This chamber responds to soul energy, she said. And it reacted to him, not me. The princes froze. What? One whispered. It awakened when he walked in, Seraphina said calmly. The chamber recognized him. Elias looked around. The glowing symbols pulsed brighter the closer he stood to the center. He lifted his hands slowly, and the chamber brightened again. The princes stared, horrified. That should be impossible. Dravos shouted. Only royal blood is allowed to activate the heart chamber. Elias stepped back, afraid. I don't know what I'm doing. Seraphina whispered. You are awakening. Dravos bared his fangs. He is a threat. He lunged forward. Seraphina moved to block him, but she didn't reach in time. Dravos's blade swung down, and the chamber reacted. A beam of red energy burst from the floor, striking Dravos and throwing him across the room. He crashed into a wall. Stunned, Elias gasped and stumbled backward. I didn't do anything. Seraphine's eyes widened. Yes, she whispered. Exactly. You didn't try. Your soul acted on its own. The other princes stepped back in fear. He's dangerous. One whispered. He's unnatural, another said. He must be destroyed. Seraphine's voice thundered through the chamber. No one touches him. Dravos struggled to stand. His eyes burned with hatred. He's not a chosen husband, Dravos growled. He's a weapon. Elias's heart pounded. I'm not a weapon. Seraphina looked at him, her voice calm, steady. Unshaken, you are something far greater. Elias felt the fire inside him flare bigger. Brighter, stronger than before. Seraphina stepped beside him again. Now, she said softly, you understand why I chose you. Elias breathed deeply, and nodded. For the first time, he believed her. For the first time, he felt the fire, and for the first time, he wasn't afraid of it. The heart chamber pulsed like a living creature, each beat glowing brighter around Elias. The princes stood frozen, trapped between fear and disbelief. No human in history had ever awakened an ancient vampire chamber. No human had ever been recognized as something more. Prince Dravos rose slowly, shaking with rage. Dust fell off his armor. His eyes burned like fire as he pointed his blade at Elias. This is a trick, he growled. A human cannot be chosen by the heart chamber. He is a danger, a threat to all of us. Elias stepped back, the glow beneath his feet brightening. The chamber itself responded to him, as if protecting him. He didn't understand any of it. I don't want to threaten anyone, Elias said softly. I don't want war. You already created one. Dravos shouted. Your existence here is an insult. You stand where only royals may stand. Seraphina moved in front of Elias, her cloak surrounding him like a shield. Her eyes glowed bright red, glowing stronger than ever. He did not choose this path, she said. Destiny chose him long before we met. Another prince shouted. Then destiny is wrong. Seraphine's voice turned sharp. Or perhaps you are afraid that destiny did not choose any of you. Silence spread across the chamber. Her words hit every prince like a blade. They knew she spoke the truth. The heart chamber was ancient. It never reacted to lies. And right now, it pulsed only for one person, Elias. Dravos roared and lifted his blade. I do not care about destiny. I will end him myself. He charged forward with deadly speed. Elias instinctively raised his arms, expecting pain. But instead, the chamber exploded in red light. A burst of energy shot upward, forming a circular shield around Elias. Dravos's blade struck the shield and shattered. The force threw him back again, rolling him across the ground. Elias breathed hard, terrified. I didn't mean to do that. Seraphina touched his shoulder. Your soul is defending itself. You are awakening something inside you. Elias felt warmth in his chest, but also fear. What if I can't control it? You can, she said firmly. Because I am here. For a moment, Elias looked into her eyes and the fear inside him eased. But the princes weren't done. A tall prince in golden armor stepped forward. The human is too dangerous. If the chamber protects him, then we must destroy the chamber. Two princes raised their weapons toward the glowing walls. Seraphine's eyes widened. No! They swung their blades, but something even more powerful stopped them. The entire chamber shook. The ancient symbols flared. The air thickened with heat. And the ground beneath Elias cracked open, revealing a deeper red glow. Elias felt it pulling at him, not to harm him, but to join with him. Seraphina whispered, "Your soul. It is connecting to the heart. It is becoming one." Elias didn't understand how or why, but he felt it. A warmth spread through his body, like strength filling every vein. His fear melted. His breath steadied. His heartbeat matched the chamber's rhythm, slow, powerful, ancient. Dravos got to his feet again, shaking with madness. "No human will rule us," he screamed. Seraphina stepped forward, her voice like steel. "He will not rule you, but he will stand beside me." That sentence made the entire court freeze. "Beside you?" A prince whispered. "As your husband?" Seraphina nodded, calm and absolute. "Yes." Elias felt his breath catch. She said it with such certainty, such confidence, such power. Her voice echoed through the room like the announcement of a new era. Dravos screamed in rage. "Never!" He charged for the final time. Elias did not hide. He stepped forward. The chamber responded instantly, sending energy into his body. His hands glowed with red fire. He didn't know how to use it, but the fire moved like instinct. Dravos swung. Elias raised his hand, and the energy burst outward in a powerful shockwave. The attack knocked Dravos off his feet, slamming him into the chamber wall. He collapsed, weapon broken, armor cracked. The other princes stared at Elias, terrified. Seraphina walked to Elias slowly, the glow around him softening. She placed her hand gently on his cheek, her voice quiet. "You see?" she whispered. "You were never weak." Elias breathed softly. "I never believed in myself." "Then let me believe for you," she said. Her words felt warm, comforting, strong. The princes knelt one by one, not to Seraphina, but to the human who stood beside her. Elias's face flushed with shock. "They're bowing." "They bow," Seraphina said, "to the one chosen by the heart, and the one chosen by me." Elias felt tears sting his eyes, but he held them back. He stood taller, not because he was brave, but because someone finally made him believe he could be. Seraphina took his hand. "Come," she said. "We will face this empire together." Elias nodded. For the first time in his life, he felt like he belonged, and the galaxy would never be the same again.